Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and we are about 2 hours away from the new moon in Libra on September 28th, 2019 at 2:26 p.m. Eastern Time. And that new moon is occurring at 5 degrees 20 minutes of Libra. So let's take a look at what I have written for the forecast for today. And you can find this on my own site at alohaastro.com or follow me on any of these social media sites where I cross-post every night. Usually somewhere between midnight 1 a.m. I get the next day's forecast up. So, new moon in Libra, Saturday, September 28th, brings an opportunity to hit the reset button on relationships of all kinds, as the moon and sun form a trine to Uranus and Taurus and an opposition to Chiron in Aries. You have to be willing to look deeply at your feelings, accept responsibility for your own shortcomings, and be willing to work at change with a positive attitude if you are seeking healing, reconnection, or compromise. The moon and sun can illuminate your path toward harmony, but that path may not be smooth, while a T-square involving Venus and Mercury in Libra, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, and the North Node in Cancer present stumbling blocks. Various scenarios could include differing points of view, combined with a need to be right, fear of commitment that comes from past hurt, and a sense that a relationship has a karmic or destined purpose, often a reason why people run away from love rather than toward it. Or the opposite, it could be distracting you from being true to your individual purpose and destiny. A quincunx between Venus-Mercury and Neptune in Pisces can be heart-opening and deepen telepathic communication and romantic yearning, which is wonderful if it is reciprocated, but poignantly sad if the love is unrequited. The sweetest thing about this aspect is that dreams sometimes do come true, and with Venus-Mercury also sextile to Jupiter in Sagittarius and the North Node quincunx Jupiter, it is worth taking the risk to be a fool for love under this new moon. Many other forecasts posted now will tell you that this is a wonderful time for love, but they are sugarcoating things to get more likes. How Libra is that? It is a complicated time for love, but whether you are unraveling a knot or tying one, it can be an intense time and a healing time. Be true to yourself, because if you are not, you cheat others of the fullness and specialness of you. Venus ruled Libra has an artist's soul. Ride out the Libra new moon energy with art, writing, or music, and don't be afraid to share it with others. So that is the forecast, and here's the picture that I found to illustrate not just romantic relationships, but how we interact with people in general is what's up for this new moon. Libra does rule the 7th house of one-on-one relationships and marriage, and it's also the mirror that it's held up across from the ascendant and the 1st house of self. So with all the Libra energy that we have going on today with the sun and the moon and Venus and Mercury, that's where most of the focus is, but you can see that we still have a lot of aspect patterns and planets scattered throughout the heavens in other positions, in other signs. We are getting a little bit of basically every element. There's nothing lacking right now elementally. I would say that Libra and Aries people, possibly, sun sign wise, or the cardinal points, are going to feel what's going on more intensely. And then the second group of signs down that would be feeling it almost as strongly would be the mutable signs, because we have the mutable energy going on as well, with Jupiter in mutable fire, Sagittarius, Neptune in mutable water, Pisces. So we have some mutable stuff. We still have Mars hanging out in Virgo, which is mutable. Not too many more days left of Mars in Virgo. It can be good for tying up loose ends and attending to the practicality of things. And if you are in like full-blown romantic overload, then Mars can also keep it real, especially since it is still in a trine to Pluto, and it can help you realize what is most important that you need to focus working on, and it can bring up issues of power and control that might need to be addressed in relationship, as well as looking at something like obsession and are you obsessed. So the Mars-Pluto energy there is important to consider in that it can bring you back down to earth and have you really look at the shadow side of love. And all of the Libra energy, of course, wants everything to be wine and roses and butterflies and everybody's happy and harmonious. But if you look at the overall dynamic, we have some romanticism here with this quincunx to Neptune, but we have a T-square in the heavens involving the North Node in Cancer. And since we have this T-square involved with Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, if we look at the associated houses that they rule, the 4th house of home, family, and psychological foundations, the 7th house of one-on-one relationships and marriage, and the 10th house of career, reputation, how we are seen out in the world, finding a balance between those 3 areas of life might be challenging. If you're overloading on just the partner, maybe you're neglecting your home family life, or maybe you are putting aside your particular beliefs because you very much want to be loved and have love reciprocated, but you're not being true to yourself or your path. The North Node does have to do with what is purposeful or what might feel destined or that you have lessons in. There can be lessons to be learned in relationship right now. For some people, it can be stepping into the seriousness of commitment because Saturn and Pluto are involved in this in Capricorn, and the highest goal that we can achieve in our mastery or authority, maturity, understanding is out there at the top in the 10th house, which rules career, but also how other people see us, our reputation, where we master something. And the work of relationship, it's not all love and light. Basically, it's saying that there can be some real struggle here, and coming to a decision as to whether something is the right thing for you and that it is time for you to move into a deeper commitment, or whether perhaps the relationship you're in is just something that is either distracting you or it's overly romanticized and maybe it's not being reciprocated, in which case perhaps you need to remove yourself from it. So some people may be getting together and going deeper during this time frame, and it can affect just how they move forward in life, because we have this quincunx here to a planet of change, and it's also in a sign that wants to stabilize. We've got Uranus and Taurus, so change that works toward stability and better things or more abundance. Taurus rules the 2nd house, which is very money oriented and also very sensual. How does something look, taste, sound, feel, smell? It's very real. So changes to make something very real that would be for the better and growth oriented, that put you on the right path or in the right direction. And I would say if it's good, it will be easy to move forward with maybe some adjustments and work to be done. But if it's not good and it's not the right thing, then let it go and move on. Get over it. Move on. Let go. Start doing the inner work and working on yourself. And that is particularly true while we have this opposition going on between the new moon and Chiron in Aries. And a lot of things you will read say that this is a planet or asteroid of healing and the whole mythology of the wounded healer. I have felt for the last 20 years that this has more to do with marriage and family, based on what MagiAstrology.com has observed through looking at thousands of charts. So there may be issues that, if we combine the two, something that needs healing within yourself in order to be in relationship, also perhaps something that would be standing in the way of moving forward in a relationship. And it could be that it's your stuff. Maybe your putting it out on the partner, but actually it's you, because Aries is that cardinal fire sign that says I am, and Aries rules the first house of self and the ascendant. And it's not just the partner or all about the partner. And if you're in any type of a standoff about who's right and who's wrong, or why can't they love me, or anything like that, I would go back to the self and look at what you need to work at there, and how you might have some inner blocks or resistance to either moving ahead in a relationship or getting out of a relationship, depending on what would be the best thing. Another square we have in here that's been around for quite a while now, because these are two slow-moving planets, and it feels like every time I look at a new moon or full moon, I'm looking at what Jupiter and Neptune are doing, and it can bring very high ideals, wishes, hopes, dreams, but squares require some work. They are very activating, and it can be very frustrating or irritating energy that you want what you want. You have a vision or an ideal, and you want the growth, and you want the relationship to be good, or you have some vision of a perfect type of friendly, happy relationship, and in reality, it might require some modification, adjustment, tolerance, forgiveness, putting up with, compromise, all those things that say that it's not ideal and perfect. Are you perfect? That's kind of what Chiron and Aries is saying in this opposition right now. Are you perfect and whole? Are you ready to manifest that perfect, ideal relationship? And can you basically live up to everything that you would like to be seeing there in your life? And if that vision or dream is just too unrealistic, then probably you're going to wind up with disappointment and things falling apart. And again, if it's not going to be good for you, and it's going to knock you off your path and keep you from moving ahead, it may fall apart. There may be some hard lessons in relationship too. Perhaps you enter into something, and it doesn't have to be romantic, but it can also be, business partnerships, things of that nature. And it may seem perfect and right just now, but it might have something in the future that is going to teach you a valuable lesson, and the lesson might come through some pain or some loss, or having to step into some power or maturity, and being able to express yourself more directly, more firmly, and not give your power away, or not put your own needs off to the side. And if you're in the other extreme where it's all about you, and you're not compromising and you're not listening to the other person, then maybe what you'll be hearing in a while is, I told you so, and you might have to, what's the expression, eat crow or whatever. So that's what's going on. And yeah, there can be love, there can be relationship, it can be nice, there can be some fantasy and idealism, and some people go in deeper, other people will be getting out, but it can be complicated, and there's work and there's lessons involved. Sometimes we just can't see the bigger picture, and that's what I feel Neptune is telling us through its multiple aspects. I feel it's almost more important at this point in time, both globally, throughout society, and on an individual level within your own natal charts, wherever Neptune is transiting, that it's been supporting the Capricorn transiting planets and the North Node for a while now, and it's now interacting with Venus and Mercury. Hopefully there's more willingness to work at upliftment and compromise and getting along and helping everybody work together towards something better in the future, even if it means that there has to be some modification of the dream or the plan. But Neptune does provide beauty, healing, inspiration, upliftment. It is also the planet that can manifest as victim, savior, martyr. So you might look at what kind of role do you play in relationship? Any of those? And if so, do you need to change that? Do you need to fix that? Are any of those out of balance and actually denying a real, authentic relationship? If you are in any of those and it's unhealthy, there can be a lot of forgiveness that comes about through Neptune in Pisces, which is a good thing. And then the interaction with Saturn and Pluto, something constructive for the long term can come out of this. I take this as a very hopeful sign on a global level when it comes to looking at things like, history repeating and where are we going politically and all of that. So the holding up of mirrors and people debating and talking about what is right, what is wrong, the polarity that comes about, especially while we are in the Libra season, might reach extremes, and the T-square can force something through that is going to change the destiny for governments, for countries, for the world as a whole. Stay high, keep your energy high, and be diplomatic and polite in your interactions with other people. That is one of the finer qualities of Libra, is the ability to negotiate, to be diplomatic, to be polite, to be socially correct. It is also very justice-oriented and looks at fairness and equality. So those issues may be coming up in the world as well right now. So let's take a look at the Sabian symbol and read through that. And I really like this one because it focuses on one of my favorite things, manifesting things. So phase 186, Libra 6 degrees, we round up from the 5 degrees 20. A man watches his ideals taking a concrete form before his inner vision. Keynote, the need to visualize clearly one's dreams or ideals in order to make them truly effectual. According to a French proverb, what is well conceived can easily be formulated. The process of interior visualization can be quite essential, except in the case of a creative individual who has become a totally pure channel for the descent of spiritual power, and a clear lens through which the archetype in the mind of man or God can be projected without distortion wherever needed. In other cases, the creative act is less direct. A man projects into the world what he has seen reflected on the screen of his individualized consciousness. So there's a shift there between the self and then opening up the self to something bigger. To me, that the mirroring energy of Libra, the consciousness and awareness of Chiron in Aries right now, the ability to make that shift between just thinking of the self and then opening up to the other or to something bigger than. And we have that quincunx going on with Neptune, and Neptune rules the 12th house of other planes of existence and the subconscious, and the idea of a god or God, other entity thought that can come through an individual. So we have planetary aspects in place that really do support this particular Sabian symbol to allow something of a higher level through that comes through purer, more perfect. This is the first stage of the 38th fivefold sequence of symbolized phases in the process of individualized existence. It is a phase of interior formulation in preparation for a creative projection of one's ideals or concepts. So, a lot of inner work, which is, of course, what we do have going on in Chiron in Aries there. And look carefully at all your relationships, examine them all, and consider what part you play in them and how you might have created the situations that you are in with other people. And then work on yourself would be the main thing. And in all cases, tune into the self and ask what is true or what is going to best be the best choice for you, where you stay on your path. many blessings and be safe during this new moon. In about 2 days' time, things will lighten up and shift, and we will be moving forward. But right now, inner work and enjoying the relationships in your life, perhaps without making definitive decisions until the light returns and we are out of the dark of this new moon. Just work on analyzing, thinking about, going into both your mind and your heart and soul to determine how you need to correct and relationships and bring them back into balance. And I am available if you want to look at you and another person, or just what's going on transit-wise in your own chart. It's very easy here to book an appointment. When you click on this, it will have you set your time zone, and then you can see my schedule with the openings that I have available. Okay, everybody, take care, and thank you for watching and listening.